Okay, once again, Roger, Mudfossil University, home of the shocker du jour, and this is another shocker du jour. This just happened a couple of days ago, Saturday, the 8th of February, 2025. Officers have investigated what caused this to turn blood red. This is Sydney Harbor in Australia. Now, the Sydney Harbor has turned bright red with the cause currently unknown. So they're saying what could cause this? The cause of the color is likely to be plumber's dye. This whole thing is turned red, which, alarming in appearance, is safe and non-toxic. They use this dye to see where leaks go in plumbing, but not like this. Now listen to this. The red water comes just over 2 months after the same water was bright green. They said it was fluorescent green, and now it's turned red. Well, that's exactly what happened in the last video I just showed you. Okay, my friends, prepare yourself, another shocker du jour. I put this up yesterday about Buenos Aires. The river changed color from green to red. It's been all kinds of different colors. They have no idea why it's doing that. So a guy contacted me this morning, one of my subscribers, a friend in Australia, and says the same thing happened right down the street from me. Let me show you what happened. Now, this is from Sven Olsen, and he's in this area. This is not exact area, but I'm looking for biology, because these color changes are from secretions of different chemistry within the body of creatures. But I can see this right here is tendon transitioning into muscle. That's the abrupt transition. You see this? These are nice golf courses. And this is biology. All right, that's not just accidental looking layers of this and that. This is actually the basement layer of skin. That's my opinion. This was the top. And then you go down through a few layers and you get down to the basement layer. I believe there's a ton of those balls all over the place in here, which are the anchor balls to anchor the skin so they can do this and do that and come back to where it's supposed to be. Now, if somebody out there wanted to go and look, I believe that's what they will find, because, again, I believe that was the surface, and then the erosion of the water washing it away. There'll be all these balls, because they have to have the balls, well, in all the flesh I have seen. There's the top layer, then there's a gooey layer, which all the balls are in, and then there's the basement layer. And that's exactly what we see here. It's, to me, it's very, very apparent what we're looking at. You see that layer? That's the basement layer of skin. Above that, up here, is where the surface layer was. All right, now, so I'm saying this is all biology here. Look at the weave, the colors. You got to understand what you're looking at. Where'd this come from? Why is that gushing out of there? That's going to be some kind of a artery or a vein. But you can see all the structure of this. I think you can see that. To me, there's virtually no question whatsoever. Well, there is no question whatsoever. It's biology. Now, let's just come down the coast a little bit, and you keep seeing it. See this? It's just everywhere. It is what it is. Now, if someone was here on site and could look at these things, because this is where red blood is coming out. And there's another cavity there. I don't know what's going on there. But I've seen so much erosion on coastlines and so much unbelievable biology that people just freak out. You see this? What's going on here? Some kind of green action here. Now, they blame all these things on plumbers. I'm not kidding you. The plumbers take the hit on this. And they say, well, the plumbers are putting dye in the water. No. This is biology, my friends. You see this? Look at this. Those are muscle sarcomeres attached to a tendon anchor. And there was somewhere, this could even have been a heart valve or something. I don't know. But you see that? People are sitting on the beach here having a good time. And this is all biology. It's just, it is what it is. Now it's time to stop and start doing some examination. Now this was somewhere in the area. It was, well, actually it was over here. And I can't really find a whole lot of biology over in this area. However, they're doing some strange, it looks like they're netting something in this area. All these, I think all these are nets from ships. So something's coming out of here, into here. I'm almost sure these are nets. I looked at it, at first I said, wow, what the hell is this? Well, it appears to be their nets cast out from ships and they're just filtering that water. Why? Why right here? Right where they had, this is where it issued out of here, the colors. Brilliant green and then brilliant red, you know, solid blood red. And it is blood red right now, I think. From what Sven said. All right, so this is Australia, and Australia, I'm telling you, it's just nothing but biology everywhere. If you look at this closely, you're going to see all of the signatures of life. I mean, it's really undeniable. All of this stuff is surrounding some kind of biology here. Look at these things up here. Look at that. What this is, I don't know, but these are little channels going in and out of whatever this particular piece of biology is, and I'm not sure what it is. But I can see these little swirls here, and I usually when I see those, I think something's anchored in there. I don't know. There's a little passageway between here. There's a membrane layer up here. Look at this thing. All right, we saw this one over here. Here's some more of the same stuff, or similar. You see that? That's the pattern of not just trees and so forth. This is like biology of a creature's body that has now changed because due to the bacteria and the enzymes and so forth that are coming out of this body. Look at the different colors here. Look. Look at this. Nobody lives out here, I don't think. I think they call this the outback or something like that. Look at all this. Look at these things. You think that's just accidental? It's crazy. These are what you know, this is some kind of a floppy fluidy area, it looks like to me. And you got these membrane, you know, tissue lines basically. And these little lakes were probably at one time able to flex and move around and come back to wherever they were anchored. That's how interstitium works, and I believe this is the interstitium, and then you go into another layer of whatever it is. Now, this could be the coating of an organ, or I don't know. It's huge. And you see this stuff? That's not the runoff of a river. You understand what I'm saying? That's just not like a river running, having a nice day. That, my friends, is some kind of biology leaking itself into tissues. Now, this is very, very, very difficult for the average human mind to conceive of. But if you step back and you say, well, let me just think about it. How can I say to Roger, Roger, you're wrong? You're wrong. You're wrong. Why? Why am I wrong when I see things like this? And I come in close and I look at them closely. And I see what you see. And I see these abrupt transitions. And I see this stuff. And I see this. And then to have, a geologist tell me, oh, that's just natural, that just happens. No, it doesn't. This is biology, my friends, and this is feeding down into here. Something here is absorbing the fluids that are running down here. This is typical of digestive systems and even your rectum, your anus, and everything. When these things pass by on their way out, they absorb some of the fluids back. And this is an absorption area, I'm almost certain. And it's grabbing a hold of all this stuff and it's feeding it back into the body somewhere. Or doing something with it, let me put it that way. This is just spectacularly stunning stuff. So it's time to look at what we really have. I mean, it's at this point, the academics, geologists, even the biologists, the doctors, everybody, they're just too scared to speak. It's just too much for the average human mind to conceive, so it's better off crushed. Ignorance is bliss, and it just happens to be that that's a fact. These people are as happy as can be, and they're just living with all of this stuff right in front of their face, and nope, I want to see it. That's the tragedy that we're living under right now. And this is Australia. It's just nothing but a bloody scab. Every time I look at it, all the things that come out of Australia, all the opals and all that, the only reason they're so colored is because there's blood. Blood has all the different metals. They're transition metals. I'll show you. Hold on. All right, these are the colors of blood. This is what's in your blood. They're transition metals, and they have all these different states of oxidation, plus 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and so forth. And they carry other particles around. That's the core. And then they have these attachments. They call them ligands. And this is in a watery substance, aqueous solutions. They flow through your body, and they pick up and deliver things. It's just what they do. They're little magnets. You want this more than I want it? Take it. Give me something else. And that's what they do. They go through your body, they deliver, and they pick up. They're just like Amazon. Now, this is the colors. So these are the colors of opal, and those colors of the ponds and all those things I'm just showing you. All right, transition metals, particularly iron and copper, are present in the blood. There's just iron that carries oxygen, so there's just tons of it. Copper is another important one, but every single one of these, 100% of these, 100% are in your blood in very, they call it trace amounts, small amounts. Of course, some of them are in big amounts. Gold is in your blood, uranium, everything. I'm telling you, everything is in your blood. All of that stuff. Now, and it's supposed to be there. It picks up and delivers. All right, so this is the key. These are transition metal components. They're in your hemoglobin in the blood. All right, so I just showed you the transition elements, and they carry the things around through your blood, and there's what make opals. Opals are just virtually silicates with blood, and the blood finds a place to become stable with some type of tissue. Now, this particular lining of the heart, this is a heart, and these are the heart strings and heart valves and so forth, and they have different chemistry, but not, well, the blood is obviously red, and that's the iron. Now, around that, you see these different colors? Those are different transition metals, just like I showed you in that chart. Now, they find a place to stabilize. If they can't find something to sink into, there's enough metals in here, they actually sunk to the bottom of the heart, which was laying like this. It got cut across, opened up. This is where the plasma red stuff is at the top, which is not heavy as metals are. So that's why I say it was laying like this. And when I cut it open, opened up, there it is. And this is heart muscle and so forth. These are the valves, and that's just a heart. All biology can be turned into opals. You see that? That's an eyeball. That's the strap on an eye. You see that strap? You twist the guy's eyeball like this. That's an eyeball. They are, here's the key. Biology works with these metals. They're just there all the time, and they're always exchanging stuff as they pass by. Well, now they go and they stay, and they say, whoa, what are we going to do now? He said, well, we'll go over work with this guy over here. He doesn't mind the red stuff coming over there, and you guys can work together, and you'll be nice and stable, and everything will be fine. Send the yellow guys over to the outside of the eyeball. Send these guys over to where the muscle is. It's different transition metals bonding with different substrates. And substrate is your body. And you have all different chemistry throughout your body. Now, I have a ton of opals right here. I have virtually all the different styles of opals. But they're scraps. There's nothing here that's of big value, but it's fabulous to look at in a microscope. And I have some we'll be looking at in the microscope, really fiery looking things. And again, they are invaded metals stabilized with silicates forming opals. All right, we're going to examine the properties and how the structure is made and exactly how opals are constructed and why they are what they are. Now I got a ton of them here, and we're going to be looking at them in the microscope. And the colors change depending upon what light is hitting them. You see that? If I change the light that hits it, it changes the color. If I get them real bright, it changes again. It's a play on light, and the light is reflected by the different frequencies that hit it. Just like we're looking at here. I study light too, and this is the same colors you're seeing here is the colors of light. It's just the same thing. It's because of well, you don't have to know about all this stuff, but it's the layering of the electrons that coat the nucleus. The depth of them determines the color that will bounce back. So when you see different colors, they're different frequencies, faster and slower. And that is because of this 2 and 3 and 4 states of the oxygen, of the metals. It's a little complicated, but it's really not that hard to understand. You just have to take a minute and just let your mind settle down. That's the problem. You say, oh, it's too much. No, it's not. Just let your mind settle down and enjoy it. If you don't enjoy it, well, do something else. All right? So this is what we're going to get into deep in the new adventure we're going to get together here, try to learn what we're really seeing in front of us. Light can speed up. Light is not a single speed. And it's quite obvious. And light is also a particle, which is quite obvious. That's the particle. And there's so much to learn now. And you can see the green is the same as the red, only it's green. It's faster. It's much more energetic. And that's exactly what they know this. This is not a mystery. The red is not as energetic as the green. And they show it as a flappy wave, but it's not. It's a spinning particle. It spins like this. So we have so much to go over and so many questions to be asked and answered. We want to try to find some kind of a conclusion to these things rather than always say, oh, there more research is needed. Well, yes, there's always going to be more research needed, but let's look at what we have in front of us now. The light is a wave, but it is a particle, and the particle has a huge field around it, and that field excites all these other fields that are in front of it. Because everything has a field, every particle there is, and there's particles everywhere. You don't see them, but they're all over the place. So this particle here has a big field surrounding it. The particle creates the wave. Particle-wave duality, always questions about that. And it's the same particle that we see here accelerating, pulling itself right out of its wave and creating electron showers, which there's a possibility we get free energy from this. So we need to really do some examination of what we've got. And we'll have a good time doing it, because it's literally a new world when you start to examine what really is in front of us. And some of this stuff is spectacular. And it's hard to accept. Just like when I first saw Caesar here. I looked at it and I said, oh, it's just a rock, just a broken piece of rock. And then I started looking at him a little closer and I said, wow, look at that. That almost looks like an eyeball, and that almost looks like a bill. There's a little hole. They have bill holes. And that's feathers. There's feathers on this guy's head. There's feathers. It's a goose or something like that. Then I started to look at his neck, and there's an artery there. There's a vein over here. Veins clamp off, so you really can't see them. And this, if you put it in the correct light, you can see the architecture of the throat. There's his throat right here. And he died laying like this. And there's that little scruffy stuff they have under their chin. And here's where his throat would have gone, but he would have died flat and soaked in the mud. And that's why they're mud fossils. But that's his feathers. And when I saw that, I started to realize, this is crazy. All these rocks are body parts. And then I started finding other stuff that nobody even knows about, that they won't accept to look at it. Other feet from other species. I drilled down in here to try to get some DNA out of here, and we had it sent off. And they said they found DNA, but then they just stopped talking to us. Because it's supposed to be able to give you an ancestry of where you came from based on the DNA that they extracted. Now, this is from the Great Flood. So unlikely that the DNA is complete. Highly unlikely. Although I have other ones that I would say it is almost totally complete, which I did have sent off and tested, and it did come back saying excellent quality DNA, which was from the mitochondrial DNA. And that's all I wanted to do, was prove it was human. Mitochondrial DNA says it's a mother human Homo sapien, the mother side mitochondrial DNA. So this, I don't know. I don't know. We have to have it examined. All that stuff has to be examined. All of the mud fossils that I have to be looked at with a critical eye, and not just rejected out of hand because they upset the apple cart. And I'll tell you, they do upset the apple cart. There is no question about that. When you have a hair follicle that's 2 inches wide, that's an apple cart upsetter. Okay, I'm going to wrap it up here for today. This is where the muscle attaches right there to the root ball to let your hair stand. Your hair stands up on edge. You got the sebaceous gland here. You got your hair shaft coming up through the top. This is a flat-sided hair, which means it's a curly-headed person. There's the shaft going down to the root ball, and these 2 little dots right here are the hair papilla. The red and the blue, which basically is a vein and artery that feed this. This is 2 inches wide. Now that's a very, very large creature. Somebody do the math if you want. I did, and I'm not good at math, so you do your own math. This is 2 inches wide. Figure out how big your little root ball is in your hair. And then do the math. 2 inches to whatever you got. So I'm not playing games here. I'm not saying things that can't be proven. They can absolutely be proven. And they have been proven. I have DNAs from 3 different specimens. I extracted the DNA myself. I sent it to the lab to be tested, and it was dense with mitochondrial human DNA. They say, oh, you must have contaminated it. No, I didn't. I drill holes in things where nothing has been touched. I don't swab it off the surface. I go inside. Now, I didn't have this tested, but I had just recently did. And as far as I know, they got DNA, but they couldn't match it to anything that's here now. This is all pre-flood stuff. This is all, mud fossils are all from the Great Flood. They're all from the Great Flood. And Yale says, yes, it all happened However, only slimy creatures turned into stone. Well, that's not true. That's not at all true. I'm showing all these things turned into stone. I'm showing geese turned into stone. I'm showing giant human beings turned into stone. I'm showing hair follicles and new species all turned into stone. We have a lot of work to do, my friends. A lot of work to see what we had missed. Because it's literally everything. Okay, my friends, this is really going to be a lot of fun. Because I'm pretty up on most everything in the scientific realm. And if I'm not, well, that's what we're here to learn. But what formed opals? You know, the colors, I think I've been pretty clear about the transition metals and the colors and so forth. But this is why they form like this. And if you're a Mudfossil person, I'm going to ask you to do this. Tell me what you think this is. It's obviously opal now, but what was it before it turned to opal? See if you can think what it is, and I'll bet you guys will know. Okay, so this is going to be it for today, and again, we're going to really get deep into this stuff. And here's another opal I have in the microscope. And again, it's all about the color, the flash, how it's polished and how it's cut and all that stuff. But it's all transition metals that have bonded with biological material. That's what creates opals, is the bonding of the transition metals with silicates and organic matter. All right, so we're going to get deep. All right, so don't forget these. And again, somebody sent me all these samples, and I lost the person's name, and I just want to say thank you so much. This was been a few years ago, and but now we're going to go through all these. And I mean, there's a ton of them here, and they're all labeled what they're called. And it was just so nice. These people are so nice to me. I can't believe it sometimes. But this is it right here. And we're going to be looking at them and seeing what we can determine by what we see in the microscope. And won't get too much out of it probably, but this is biology. And just to show you something, every one of these opals that I've ever seen is something biological. And you can see it's biological. That's a clamshell. It's all the transition metals try to find somebody to bond with, and they did. That right there is cut from a heart. I'm almost 100% certain it's from right inside of a heart, and I'll show you where. Right out of some place like this, right out of a heart. These are called Yoa opal nuts. And they find them in their organs. And they just cut them open, and they take the best little colors, and they make fancy jewelry out of them. And here's a nautilus. Look at the size of this baby. You see all the green is out here. That's what it wanted to bond with. This color here is closer. Now, whether it's like springy or something, I don't know. All right, these, but every one of them I have seen, and you know, of course, the eyeball, they're all made out of biology. And this right here, I can guarantee you that's from out of a lung. All those different colors are the colors of blood. Black, red, yellow, all of that. So stay tuned. We're going to start in, and it's going to be a regular school, and at some point you'll get some kind of a degree-ish thing. I don't see any reason it should cost any money. Or it certainly should be able to be run for almost nothing, and some very small donations possibly for people that want to get involved and need help to do that. And you know, it takes time, and time is money. In today's economy, you can't just do anything for nothing. You know, unless you're retired like me. Anyway, this will be a new place to learn, an alternative to what you've been taught. Now, it's very nice to know both sides of it. Yes, I'm not saying just look at this. Obviously, in order to say we don't agree with what you say, we have to know what they said. We have to understand what they said. We can't just say we don't agree. Well, why don't you agree? Well, we just don't agree. Well, that's not a good disagreement. You have to say we don't agree because this is made out of Fruit Loops or whatever. And then I can say, no, this is made out of transition metals and silicates, da-da-da-da-da. All right, so anyway, whoever gave me these opals and sent them to me very nicely, no charge, no nothing here, take them and look at them. I'm sorry, I don't remember, well, I don't remember anything anymore. But I didn't write down the name, or I can't find it, let me put it that way. So anyway, thank you so much. And for everybody that sent me stuff, and a lot of people have, and I'm getting all kinds of reports from everybody around the world. Look at this, please. What do you think of this? What do you think about that? And that's these different chemistry in the water. This is important to understand this. This is, they're blaming it on plumbers and this and that, and, industrial tanning places where they tan leather and color dyes. And let's think about the alternatives and do some chemistry. I like chemistry. Chemistry shows what's going on. And if you can find the amino acids and all that stuff in there, well, you're going to find a lot of stuff. But it's something that has to be investigated on a deep level. Everything. We got to start over again. Investigate it and make claims, and then we will investigate those claims. We'll make our own claims. Let them investigate our claims. All right? We're not always going to be in agreement with anybody, but sometimes we will be, sometimes we won't. All right? Stick around if you want to try to understand things from every perspective there is. But this is a material, evidence-based school. And you'll learn material, evidence-based things in physics, chemistry, biology, anatomy, history, space, all the things in space, the meteorites, asteroids, comets. We'll look at ancient history, the texts. There is nothing that will not be examined. And I will be open for questions on everything across the board, 100%. But don't forget, it's material-based, and you can't just ignore something because you have a different opinion. You have to have a material-based opposition to what we're going to be discussing and making conclusions on. We make a claim. If you're going to disclaim it, you have to come up with some evidence against our evidence. That's the key. All right? I love you all. Stay tuned. It's going to be a real journey into new education, new ed. All right, so the claim is that everything is biological, and this, again, is Australia. And look at the colors. And I was talking about the colors changing in rivers and lakes and so forth. That's happening all over the world. It's not just Australia. Look at this. Look closely at what you're seeing here. I understand this is biology. This is not, you got to look at the details. When you see these abrupt transitions and these feeding spots coming in, and let's follow it down. At a certain point, it becomes undeniable. Look down here. Look at this, and this, and this, and this, and this. This is biology, and it's a serious biology. Now, this pours out into the ocean or wherever it's going here. That's all effluent from something big. And if I have gone back here and looked at all this, this is just the guts of something. And this is where it's running out. They all have to discharge somewhere, and this is it. You see these different colored lakes and things like that? If you dig in deep, you'll find all kinds of different biology going on. There's brown and blue and green and red spots here and there, but you really got to dig around and look. My point is, this is not just you know, like runoff of water and so forth. Look at it. It's pretty amazing. And again, all of these different colors will merge in together. This is something Google put in there, but by the time you get into a lot of these colors are the merging of something into something else. I don't know what. But when you see these kind of borders, these are membranes. These are basically membranes. So I guess I don't see any reason to keep going with this. I think I've shown enough that you understand the whole Earth is biology. It is just, that's just what it is. And at some point we have to come up with the ability to realize that there were giant creatures here. Giant creatures, giant fishes. Well, this particular thing was the dragon attacked the fish. It's time to just stop and listen and think. This is going on forever, this avoidance of the truth. There's not a doctor in the world can look at this and not understand what they see. This is the attack, and the toxin has eaten right through the fish's scales. We're right down into the blood vessels. Those are arteries and veins and capillaries. Even the lymph ducts are easily seen. The creature is so large. These are things doctors have never seen before. These are the lymph ducts. See all these little webbing? Those are the lymph tubes. Veins are very porous. That vein is sucking stuff up right out of the capillaries. There's a lot to learn from this. I'm going to leave it at this for today, but you know, I am going to have to start another school. This channel got destroyed. I mean, absolutely destroyed. The only people that even come up here are ones that have to search for it. Now, that's what it appears. But anyway, I am going to do something. I'm not sure exactly what, but it's going to be, well, who knows what it's going to be. All right, I'll talk later. Thank you. I love you all. Bye.